Welcome back to Hockey Talks. I'm Carl. It's joined by Dave here again. We're going to go over a few things here. The Florida play style and against Edmonton and how they managed to keep their top players out of scoring and even entering the zone pretty much. They haven't had too much to look at. We're going to go over goaltending, how Bobrovsky has been playing against Skinner. Also, Utah revealed their jerseys and the color scheme, and we're going to go over the last 6 names remaining for when they actually choose a name, which sounds like it's going to be the following year. But Dave, first of all, we're going to get everything caught up on the Stanley Cup playoffs. So the final 2 teams, Florida and Edmonton, they're traveling back to Edmonton for Game 3. Florida has taken a 2-0 series lead over the Edmonton Oilers. How hard is it going to be for them to come back from that, do you think?
Yeah, I think Edmonton may have gotten caught off guard. I think we can't forget that it was 2 home games for Florida, and that's the way the playoffs works, 2-2, 1-1-1.
Yeah.
So now if Edmonton, they're back home, now recording tonight on Thursday, they're playing right now. If Edmonton doesn't get the win, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what all, happens afterwards, because they're going to have to come back, obviously, from a 3-0 deficit. But yeah, I think it could go one of 2 ways. Florida could go and be a little comfortable and not play straight out of the gate like they have been, and Edmonton could rush them and take them. Or Florida knows how far they've come. They've had a couple of wake-up calls throughout this playoffs, and they're going to come out charging. And if Florida comes out charging, and if they end up ahead at all, I think the game is over. Edmonton has to get the first goal.
They have to. I think that's a must almost. Get that crowd going, get the energy in there, because right now they haven't had much, especially last game. Florida, I guess Bobrovsky stole the first game. You could say they fired 30-some shots in the first game, and I think it was a 3-0 shutout for Bobrovsky.
Yep.
So if they can figure it out, I mean, a lot of people keep saying, you got to figure out Bobrovsky. Once they do that, well, when are you going to do that? I mean, Bobrovsky's playing his absolute best hockey right now, right? And he's putting on a phenomenal goaltending. And Stuart Skinner on the other side maybe has led in some, I wouldn't say they're bad goals, but some he would like back. Because it's been too many easy chances, though, for Florida coming into their zone. It's almost like they don't know how to figure out where they're going most of the time. Like they try to defend and block shots, but I mean, they're just somehow easily entering the zone. They can't contain them, it seems.
Yeah, and aside from Florida's offense, I think another thing that we're seeing, Bobrovsky is playing phenomenal hockey. But that's also because Florida's controlling, their defense is outstanding. If your goalie can make the initial save and then the defense clear the puck, the goalie's going to be in a proper position. He's going to do a stand-up performance. He's not going to have any weird oddball plays that are going to twist any of his joints in a weird direction. The goalie's well protected. Oilers aren't going to be, at the net causing him any unneeded pressure. I think that the way Florida's playing with their defensive style, there's even plays where McDavid is in the end. He's skating back and forth, and McDavid's ultimate skater. But he's doing that because there's nothing he can do. Florida looks like they're running around chasing him, but what they're doing is they're cycling and they're covering everybody perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like there's complete chemistry with the entire defensive core.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to relate that to something like what Tampa Bay did against how they play defense in the playoffs, is just plug the net.
Yeah.
And Florida is doing that, but their players are actually going out, and there's so much more chemistry. It's really amazing to see.
There's so much more, than just laying down in front of the shot. You see the defensive play, especially Barkov. The game 2, he was phenomenal on defense. I think he had sticks in almost all the lanes he was in there. Right, even back checking, he'd go and block something or stop some pass, and he'd turn around, come back, and he'd block another thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's just these guys are all clicking together and playing defense phenomenally. And Edmonton just can't find an answer to get past them. They can't even make a pass hardly in their zone. So they got one on Bobrovsky the other last game. But it's, I mean, they got to find a better way to generate shots on net and find a lot more better opportunities than just ripping them. Sometimes that works, but Bobrovsky knows it's coming, right? So they got to figure out a way to break down that defense and get some high quality chances on Bobrovsky. Otherwise, it's going to be the same situation.
Yeah, this goes back to a conversation we had when Hyman got over 50 goals in a season, where he just plugs the net and he waits for a talented shot or a talented player to get the puck through, and then he picks up the rebound and he gets it. And that works. That works in a lot of playoff games and a lot of regular season games. You go to the net if you want to get the goal. But it's like what's happening now is Hyman isn't able to produce anything because nothing's really getting through. Or if it does get through, the defense clear it.
Yeah.
And they have coverage of it.
Florida's figured it out.
Yeah.
You see how many times they tried to have that slot pass right to the edge of the net where Hyman usually is, right? Mm-hmm. Or somebody is to tap it in. And
it goes right through.
Not even they get a stick on it or something. They're not even letting it get through most of the time. So they got to figure out they try the same thing over and over again, it almost looks like, but nothing's working. They gotta figure out a way, they gotta figure out a hole or something to get through this, but if they don't, it's gonna be a 3-0 series lead after tonight's game, which is in Edmonton, which is going to be a massive swing in that series if they don't get this.
So how much of what we're seeing with Edmonton's offensiveness, they're going to have to do a better job and maybe switch things up and play a bit of a different style. But as well, when you're trying and you're not getting anything in or anything even through, there's got to be some added frustration there. And I know when people play a team like Florida is seemingly the bullies right now.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of the Flyers, but maybe not as heavy hitting. Yeah. But they are doing things that are kind of on the edge of what you can do. And I think it's really getting under the Oilers' skin. I know it's getting under their fans' skin because a lot of them are complaining about penalties and about this and that. Now, the only question is, would the penalty have changed the outcome of the game? I mean, yes and no, I guess. It's so hard to say.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, momentum can swing either way, right? When you call a penalty, you call a bad penalty. But you look at the Florida Panthers, and they do a lot of things. A lot of them aren't penalties, though. You look at some of them, of course, they could be called, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But they're doing a lot of different stuff that wouldn't be called a penalty anyways. I mean, they're just kind of almost pushing them around a little bit, and it's frustrating the Oilers and frustrating because they don't have nearly the room they used to have when McDavid can't just fly up the ice anymore.
Yeah.
If he tries that instantly, he gets checked, right? Or he gets blocked or something. It's just they don't have that style that they're used to playing, and they're having a very hard time adapting to it. So, I mean, they play a very aggressive style, and they know how to, like you said, get under the skin of their opponents.
And that can't be good, for Oilers to play emotionally, especially when you're already emotional because you're behind the series. But throughout the games, to get emotional, the fact that you can't even really get a shot off, and you have a goaltender who's robbing you. But that leads me to the next question of Bobrovsky. You can say stole game one. Mm-hmm. I mean, Florida's offensive scored a decent amount as well. But is Skinner? When is he going to be in the game here? Is he going to end up stealing a game? Because we had talked about this like a week or two ago about how important goaltending is going to be in one like this. And it's not necessarily they got to steal every single game, but if they can take one away, that can really boost your team through. Florida, for game one, let's say that Bobrovsky is the one who stole the game. Do you think Skinner is the type of goalie that can steal maybe a game 3? And if it comes down to it, maybe the game 4?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have to. He's going to have to do something, right? I mean, the goaltending he's been playing right now is subpar, I think. He's had a few good stretches which got him to this point, but he needs to continue doing that. And if he doesn't do that, it's going to be very, very hard, as Edmonton Oilers have a hard time scoring goals already. And if Skinner is letting in these easy-looking goals all the time, it's going to be very hard for them to keep up, right?
Yeah.
So Skinner has to step up his game, I think, and start playing like the goalie he was that got him to the Stanley Cup final, right? Because if he doesn't, I think the Oilers are done, right? I mean, Skinner has been a hot and cold goaltender almost all season, right? But I mean, he that refresh that he had against the Vancouver Canucks, that really set him in for the next few games. He played really well, but he seems to almost have lost that a little bit. Maybe it's nerves coming in the Stanley Cup final, maybe, but
especially starting out away.
Yeah, they can't be an excuse though, right? You have to be on your game, and that's how you get the good players and the great players, right?
Yeah.
If they can focus on nothing but that and play the game they know they're playing, and not let everything and the fans and the team get in your head, that's how you win games like this.
Yeah.
And if you let other things get in your head, Stuart Skinner has a strong head. We know this, right? He knows how to get through, and he's been through a lot of adversity through the season. But something tells me something, either an injury is bugging him, or he's just mentally trying to get through this and all the excitement and stuff like that. But we're looking for a big bounce back game in Game 3 from him, playing at home in front of all these fans, and see if it makes a difference or not.
And one thing I just want to mention quick that I had heard, I haven't seen it myself, but I'd heard the Edmonton Oilers coach actually call out Toronto and saying that they wouldn't have made it this far because it takes an elite team to make it this far. Now, whether that's true or not, I'd have to check. But if it is true, karma sucks sometimes. And Florida is not a fun team, and I'm a Leafs fan. They are a hard team to play, especially because they ride that edge.
They do.
They push the line as to what's allowed, and they really see what they can get away with before they continue the game. Mm-hmm. I think we're seeing that, with all sorts of hacks and everything like that a lot of people would say, well, they should be calling. It's like, well, they're not getting called, so they're going to keep it up,
Yep.
So, but when a coach says that, it bugs me, obviously, because I'm a Leafs fan, and I'm not like all too sad about it or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I do believe that more Canadians are probably cheering for Florida to win this cup than Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, a lot of people want to see. Florida has a lot of great Canadians on it too, right? Mm-hmm. Along with Edmonton. Edmonton does have a lot of Canadians too, but I think it's pretty split.
Being a Vancouver Canucks fan, as you are, what team are you cheering for?
I don't know. I was pretty sour once the Oilers took the Canucks out, right? And I was like, no, Oilers are done. Dallas are going to take them out. Yeah. Didn't happen. Florida's going to take them out. Well, maybe. I've always said from the beginning, though, that Florida, it's going to be very, very hard to beat him right from the beginning of this playoffs. And they've been proven right. It's very, very hard to play against this club, right? So they play a hard game, and not many teams have been able to figure them out.
Yeah.
But quickly, though, the Utah Hockey Club, which are going to be called this year for the NHL, or next season on the NHL, unveiled their jerseys today. They will be Utah across the chest, with colors of white, baby blue, and black. They look all right. They have it up on the NHL Network if you want to take a look at them. They're okay for a first jersey, I guess. But they also enlisted down to the 6 final names. Right now, it's just going to be Hockey Club, and Hockey Club, believe it or not, is one of the last 6 names. So the other names would be Blizzard, Mammoth, Outlaws, Venom,
and my favorite, Yeti.
Yeah.
The Utah Yeti. I love that one.
Yeah. I actually don't mind Venom. Venom actually is kind of cool.
Reminds me of the movie.
Yeah. I think they could do a lot with Venom. But those are the final 6 choices. Hockey Club is one of those choices. I don't know. I think they shouldn't do Hockey Club. I don't really like that name.
It's pretty uncreative.
It's very uncreative.
And keep in mind, up in Canada, I don't know where you are if you're watching this, but we also are home to the Toronto Raptors, which is named after Jurassic Park.
Yes. Yeah.
So seeing something like Venom wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's a lot you can do with it. If you are still watching, comment what your favorite team name would be for Utah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hear some opinions here. My favorite team, I think, would be probably Venom. I think you could do a lot with Venom. Hockey Club is a absolute no for me. I think it's too unoriginal. That could stay in soccer because we have the Toronto FC football club, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of like a soccer football kind of name of what they do. I don't think we should keep that in hockey. But yeah, that would be my choice. Those 6 final names, I think, are okay.
So. Yeah. Well, you did mention soccer, and one thing I have noticed in this series is there is a lot more dives than there usually is. Makes you think what's happening to the sport here. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Just like in soccer, they roll around.
It, though.
Yeah, I'm glad they are. I'm
glad. Yeah. Like that one, I can't remember what series it was, but they call them both. They call the I don't know how they call them both, but they call the tripping penalty and a dive. So both of them went to the box. But it's either one or the other, not both.
You got tripped, but it wasn't that bad.
But it wasn't an actual trip. Like, you're both going to the box anyways. So I don't know.
Sounds
they
about
gotta
right
figure some stuff out there.
NHL hockey refereeing.
Yeah. They gotta figure that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they are calling a little bit though now. But
so real quick, we don't know what the score is going to be tonight, but let's say it's 3-0 Florida. You think Edmonton has any hope at winning 4 in a row?
No.
So Edmonton pretty much, in my opinion, if Edmonton pretty much has to win tonight.
It's almost, for me, it's a must-win tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of people say even down 2-0, it's very, very slim chance that they can come back and win out the series. It's happened before.
Well, they just got to win both home games. Florida did it.
I think that's a must. They have to win both home games, right? Yeah. Even if they go down 3-1 in the series, it's almost going to be impossible to come back, right? So it's almost a must that they win both home games.
Yeah.
We'll see if they get off to a hot start tonight. I think they're going to come out flying, but once again, they got to figure out Florida, and they haven't been able to do that yet. So we will find out tonight whether or not they can come closer, get at least a win or a couple of goals for that matter, and see if they can actually get their first win in the Stanley Cup Finals since 2006.
It's been fantastic hockey though, and just when I say I'm cheering for Florida, I gotta say though Edmonton is an impressive team, and I'm sitting waiting for McDavid to go off and to do his thing, and it's been very fun hockey to watch.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be a blast again tonight. As for game number 4, which will be played, I do believe, on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we will catch you up again next Thursday on Hockey Talks here.
Which comes out on Friday.
Yeah, we record it Thursday, send it out Friday. But yeah, we will talk to you again next week, give you some more updates and anything else going around the Hockey League. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you next time. Have a wonderful night.
Adios.